Right, hey guys, this is my tutorial on how to change the spring on a G&G armament L85A2, more commonly known as the SA-80 by the British Armed Forces. It's a fairly simple process and should only take you about 15 minutes or give or take. Now, obviously that's going to change if you run into a few problems like I did, but it's a fairly simple process overall. First of all, you're going to want to safety check the weapon and make sure there are no rounds in the chambers. You're going to take the mag out, obviously. The gun should be on safety. And once everything's safe, then you can go ahead and start. So we're going to strip the gun down to get to the gearbox, which is on the inside. By doing this on the specific L85, you remove this pin right here. It pushes out, and then you just pull it out. Make sure you put it somewhere where you're not going to lose it, because those things love to run around. And then you're going to take the top of the rifle and the bottom, and you're going to pull the bottom back off the top of the rifle, and then it just unhooks like that. You can go ahead and set that down. And I find it's really helpful to unplug this, because now you have two completely separate halves of the rifle, and you can just take this one and put it up, because this is all you're going to need. So now that we have the gearbox open, this is where the fun begins. You want to make sure, first of all, that this little spring right here doesn't... There you go, maybe you can see it now. The spring likes to fall out when you take the gun apart, and it likes to fall out when you put the gun back in. I don't know why, but it's super annoying. You just want to go ahead and remove it, pull it off, and then unhook it from the little loop, and put that somewhere where you can't lose it, because it's going to get lost too. It's a bit annoying, to be honest. Then, you go to the other side of the rifle. There's another pin here, but it has its little flap on it. There you go. Wide angle GoPro views, they're not great for filming like this. So you want to pull this out, just like that, and then put that somewhere where you don't lose it as well. And now, since this rifle has a split gearbox design, you can literally just lift up on the gearbox, push forward, and the entire top half comes off. You don't need this part. This is just the motor and the bottom part of the gearbox. So you're going to need an Imperial set of Allen keys, I believe. I can't really tell, to be honest, because I've opened this before with my metric set before and it worked just fine, so who knows. Anyways, there's going to be a screw up here. There's going to be a screw back here, here, and under here. Now, I'm an idiot, and I lost this one a while ago, so don't lose screws. That's bad. You're going to go ahead and just undo all of these. Okay, so once you have all the screws out, this is where it gets tricky. This little plate right here is what is used to, it's for the blowback, because this is an electric blowback rifle. You can go ahead and remove this, because it really, it's just getting in the way. So you pull it all the way back to the rear, then you lift up. It should just slide right out like that. Now be careful, because there's a little spring and a little latch in here. That comes out pretty easily, so don't lose that. Now, this is the annoying part. See this black piece on top? This actually slides across the top of the gearbox. Now, you have to push this off this way to get the gearbox open, but mine had a little piece of metal sticking up in this little notch here, and you can see I can open it now, but this little piece right here was getting in the way of opening it before, so when it was closed, I couldn't push it forwards. And I had to take a file and just file that down. It took about 20 minutes to do, so if your rifle if you can't push this open, you have to file that down, and then it should just come off. Now after you get that off, this is where the gearbox can finally come apart. You want to put it down on something and hold this black part, and then you're going to just lift up on the metal shell. Oops, sorry for shaking the camera. There you go. want to watch out for this spring right here. Okay, actually, you know what? I've taken off the wrong side. It's better to do it on this side. Either way, it doesn't change anything, just this spring needs to be pushing against this, and this little, what's that called? Outlet here is, it's on this side, not on this side, so it'd be better to do it from the other side. Now you have the gearbox open. You can take the spring out, just like that. And this is where I'm replacing it with a stronger spring, because this is literally 0.2 joules. That's almost enough to get across my room. So, stronger spring, put the string guide back in, slide it back into the gearbox, and you have to push, because these are really strong apparently. You want to make sure that the guide is angled like this, because there's a little notch it can go into there. There you go. Now you see it's through that notch, and it fits just like that. You want to hold this in because it's going to want to fly out on you. And then you take the gearbox, the outer shell, make sure the spring down here is aligned again, and it should just fall into position. No, the spring's getting in the way. This is what happens when I try to make a tutorial. I screw everything up and then it just looks really bad. There you go. So now it's back together. I like putting this on first because then it's just easier. You don't have to keep holding it together. Like that. Then you take the recoil piece. If you want to disable the blowback on your gun, you can actually just remove this piece, and then the blowback won't work anymore. But I prefer having it because I actually have a downgraded rifle, so it's not going to wear my gearbox as much. Put the last two notches in on the back, and then you push down. It should lock into place again, and then it should slide around. Now you can take the screws and put them back into the gearbox. Well, I guess this is pretty much the rifle, isn't it? Alright, there you go. So this is actually most of the work done already. Because now it's the easy part, you just put it back into the rifle. So this is the opposite of how you take it out. You want to make sure that this black piece on the bottom is on the right side of the gearbox part. And it's going to slide in here, in front of this black gear. But first, you want to make sure the front hook up here connects to the bottom half of the rifle. After that, it should just fall into place like that. You don't even have to push it. It just falls. Then you take the pin. It goes in on this side. It should go in pretty easily, no struggle at all. And then that holds the gearbox in, so it won't come out. And then remember the spring. It's the annoying part, but it's what keeps the bolt latch, keeps tension on the bolt latch. So I find it's easier if you put it into the loop first, and then, well, yeah. Right, it's on now. Finally. You want to make sure you push it all the way back, because otherwise it just falls back out on you. Super annoying. So now you've replaced the spring, and the gearbox is back in the rifle, so everything's set. Now, oh, it's also worth testing it by just pushing this up and down a bit. You can see that the spring elongates when you press this. You want to make sure it's in there well. So now, this is the other half of the rifle. And this is a bit tedious putting them back together. You want to take these obviously and hook them back together first. And I like hiding it in this side of the gun. the fuse and all that. Okay, so now that you've got that done, put the two parts of the rifle back together. Now, I don't really have any method of putting them together. It just seems to, you just have to do it until it works. Just be careful because you could bang up the nozzle on the gearbox doing this. There you go. So now once the two parts are together, you take the pin, insert it on the back again. Okay, so I've got the rifle back together now. Everything should be working, but this is the part where you test it with your crap. So, into the gun cam you go. And now, you should be able to see what I'm shooting at with the stronger spring. Right, here we go. Sorry for the noise, it's kind of lame to be honest. I haven't loaded it, of course. Right, try that again. Right, so you hear that now. It's clicking. This is a common problem with the L85s and Airsoft apparently. So, if it clicks like that, and you're in semi-auto, just flip to full auto. And it's something to do with the gears in the gearbox. They don't work too well or something. I don't remember, to be honest. See? Now it fires. You can flip it back to semi-auto. And it's stalled again. So it's working again. So, I've run into a problem with my rifle and semi-auto. It won't complete a full cycle to fire the round off. I'm wondering if this is because I am running on a 7.4 LiPo battery and it might not be strong enough to power the rifle. So if you're running a pretty weak downgrade of the L85 before you switch to a new spring like I did, it might be worth looking into a better battery. I haven't tested this theory yet, so don't quote me on that. I'll do a bit more testing. I'll see what I can find about the problems I'm having. Right, so you may have noticed that the last cut I made, the bolt wasn't actually retracting like it should with a electric blowback rifle. I think I've just taken the part apart again, put it back together, and it should be working now. See how it goes back? If you have it enabled, you want to watch out for that. Although, with the new spring, I'm not entirely sure I would have this enabled, because apparently it reduces the lifespan of the entire rifle. But now it works. I don't have semi-auto at all. You can see it just fails to fire. Try semi-auto again. Nothing, just click. And then it works again as full auto. So yeah, it's a problem with the rifle, not necessarily your spring change. It's got something to do with the gears inside, so I don't remember if there's a solution to this. I've heard of some people just using stronger batteries, getting it to work, but I don't have a stronger battery to try, so I can't test that out for you, sorry. Anyways, that's pretty much it for my rifle. That's how you change the spring in the G&G L85A2. Hopefully it should work for you.